Hi everyone, welcome to the rec room. Come on over here. So my name is Ms. Piasari and I am new to Northside Community School. So I am the Restorative Practices social worker, and basically restorative practices is centers around being in community with one another, and sometimes when we have strains or tension in the relationship, what it takes to be able to repair that relationship so that we can be in community with one another. So this space is called the rec room, and it's a space that we've been working on probably for the past maybe 2 or 3 months or so, because we wanted a space on campus that if students needed some extra support, being able to regulate their emotions or have just like a quick 15-minute reset, this would be the space to be able to do that. And the reason why we're calling it the rec room is because when you look at the word the rec room, the RE represents all the goals that we want for this space. So for example, reset. This is a space where students learn how to reset for those 15 minutes that they're in here so that they can learn how to calm down, to be able to get back into the classroom environment and hopefully be in the mindset to be able to learn again. So that's the first goal, reset. The second one is restore. This is a space where we have those restorative conversations. So we talk about the situations, what happened, what were you thinking and feeling when that situation happened? What have you thought about, since that situation happened? And we also talk about who's impacted, other students, maybe other staff members, other administrators, yourself. So we talk through those situations so that students can learn more about how their actions impact others. And then we also talk a lot about what do we need to do to make things better, to make things right. So those are some of the main sub points for the restore goal. And then the last one is reintegrate. What do we need to do to be able to get the student back into the classroom space after they've been in this rec room for some time? So we have reset, restore, and reintegrate. So that's why we chose to call this space the rec room, because the rec room with the RE represents everything that we hope to accomplish in this space. So if we come over here, which is the sign-in table, one of the first things that a student is going to do when they sign in is they'll sign in on the laptop. They'll tell me their first and last name, their teacher's name, and then we have the theme being the inside out characters. So on the laptop, they're going to tell me what zone they're entering the space in and the intensity of that emotion on a scale of 1 to 10. And the reason why is because I want to know how much they're feeling that emotion when they enter the space so that I can help them to kind of decide what would be best for them to be able to calm down in one of the 5 main stations that we'll go through in just a second. So after they sign in and tell me what zone they're in, I'll have them grab one of these restorative reflection forms. This one is for the older ones, and then I have one for the younger kids. And then they're also going to grab a timer. They might have anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes at one of the stations. So we kind of make that decision on the spot. But they'll grab a timer, grab a clipboard, a pencil, and then they have the option to go to one of the 5 main stations so that they can do what they need to be able to calm down before we have a conversation. So the first station is the movement station. They can roll for some brain breaks and use the dice so that they can do different movement exercises to be able to get some of that energy out. We have the sensory stability balls, and then we have the rocking chair. And I also have a laptop here so that they can pull up different seated movements on YouTube or standing movement exercises. And the reason why I have all of these is because I have found that some of the students, especially when they come in like in the red zone feeling angry, it helps them to be doing something, some type of rhythmic movement to be able to release some of that angry energy. So this is the first station. The second one is the arts and affirmation station. So at this station, they have something where they can put their emotions to art, which is a really good catalyst for when we go to the main table to talk, so I can kind of see how they're feeling. They also have the option, especially for the older kids, I have something called affirmation cards. And I use this with the older kids, and we go through some thought-provoking questions that really center on affirmations that get them thinking. And I have a bunch of different worksheets that center on affirmations about the messages that the students need to remind themselves of when they're not making the best of decisions. Another example of something I have at this station are more coloring worksheets that have different messages like I am smart, I am a leader, I am beautiful, I am loved, I am kind. And then I have something called a positive self-talk flower, which some of the kids have really loved. And basically with this, they'll do something similar where they write different messages of things that they need to remind themselves of, especially as they go throughout the day when they leave this space. So some of the kids will write the messages, they'll draw a picture of themselves, and then they'll decorate the outside of the flower, and then they'll keep it in their pocket. And I tell them that anytime they need to be reminded of those messages, especially when they're getting really upset, they can just easily pull it out and have that quick reminder. So these are just some of the activities that I have in the Arts and Affirmation Station. And then if we move over here, we have the sensory station. And in the sensory station, a lot of the kids, they like to use the sensory sequin wall because sometimes the texture is really good for your hands. And some of the kids have also loved writing different messages about how they're feeling, using that sensory sequin wall. I have in these blue bins different things that they can do with their hands to just also channel some of that energy from their bodies to do something productive with their hands. So I have the fidget things, I have the Play-Doh. Many of them, they like to be making things as we're even talking on the carpet about the situation. I have something called the sensory threading board, which is really good for focus and concentration. So I have found that some of the kids also like to use this as we're having some of our conversations. So that's the sensory station. And the reason why I have this station is because sometimes it's really helpful for students to engage with your other senses, especially touch, when they're upset, just so that they know that it's possible to do something productive with our hands when we're feeling a lot of big emotions. And then the next station over here is the mindfulness station. So if they come to this station, they use the items that are in the pink bins. So we have different mindful coloring sheets with different messages like you're enough, you're kind. And then I have 2 laptops here that are cued with very specific meditation videos that are supposed to teach them some of the skills of how to calm down when their emotions are up here and they need to get back down here. So because there's about 15 to 20 videos in that playlist, depending on how they're feeling, if it's like the blue zone or the yellow zone, I'll pick a very specific video that will help them to work through that specific emotion in that zone. So we have a variety of different videos on that playlist. And then the last station over here, this is the music station. So when students come to this station, they have the option of, once again, I have 2 tablets here queued up with very calming music playlists with guided visualization so that they're looking at something to kind of take their mind off of that emotion and into the visualizations. So I have 2 different playlists here that they can listen to. I also have some books on that center table because some of them like to read books as they're listening to the music. And the books are centered on emotions and how we respond when things don't go our way or when somebody says no to us. So those are some of the themes of the books that we have. So once they pick one of these 5 main stations to engage in for about 10 minutes or so. Sometimes some students need a little bit more time, so give or take. And then the whole purpose of these 5 stations is to show them that it is possible to do something to help you calm down, especially when the emotions are up here. So I think it's really important for the students to know that you don't have to stay at that heightened emotion, that you can actually do something, whether it's with your hands or with music or through movement or whatever it might be, to be able to calm yourself down and have a calm body. So once they're kind of in that state, this is kind of like the conversation table that they come to. And at this table, I give them some time, if it's applicable, to be able to fill out that clipboard that they picked out in the beginning, and I use that as a guide for some of our conversations, so that we can talk through the situation, get a sense of how they're feeling and who was impacted by their actions. And ultimately, like I said earlier, so we could figure out how do we get you back into the classroom space so that you can be successful and hopefully have a good rest of your day, even though you're having a rough time right now. So that's the purpose of them coming to this main table. Sometimes I use the emotional flashcards. They like to pick out another emotion that they might be feeling, or the emotional book to kind of guide our conversations. So that's what happens at this table. And then one of the last things that I have them do is I have them sign out on my laptop. And it's basically the same exact questions that I asked them at the beginning of the sign-in table. which is your name, your teacher's information, and now I want to know what zone they're in as they're leaving. So are they in the red zone? Are they in the green zone? Are they in the yellow zone? Or are they in the blue zone? And then I have them rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how much they're feeling that emotion. And the reason why I do that is because I want like a before and after, because we want to see the impact that this space is having on the students. So I will ask them that question one more time, and I always tell the students, even when they're filling out the sign out sheet on my laptop, that it's okay if you're still in the same exact zone, but are you feeling it less? So I've had many students who have come in here, they were feeling like they were in the red zone and they're at a 10, but then maybe they left at a 6 or a 7, right? So the goal is not to just always get them in the green zone, but it's to show them that your emotions, like you can calm them down by actively doing something. And then they'll go back to class, and then I normally send an email to the teachers, like a follow-up about what we did in this space, about what helped the student to calm down, just so they have that information for themselves. And then I send the teachers a quick little like post-rec room survey. It's super simple about when the student returned to your class, if they seem calm, did you have to use other behavioral strategies? Was that even necessary? Or were they calm enough to be able to just finish that class and actively participate? So that's another question that we kind of send out to teachers, just so we can collect more data about how this space is being used and how it's impacting students. So I think that's the main information about this rec room. I've really enjoyed being in this space so far. It's given me a chance to be able to connect with the students and just start to build more relationships with them. So I'm enjoying being here. I'm enjoying being in this space, and I hope that you can stop by for the parent conferences and just take a closer look at this space. But in case you can't, now you have this video as reference. So thank you so much.